Good evening, everyone. My name is Jennifer Shoemaker. I am a Deputy Child Support Attorney with Riverside County Department of Child Support Services, otherwise known as RIVCO DCSS. Please mute your microphones, type in your questions in the chat or the comments section, and we will answer your questions after the presentation. Good afternoon, everyone. We want to express our sincere thanks for you being here today. We want to take our time today to share with you the different aspects of review and adjustment, also known as modification. Our mission statement states, we're committed to partnering with both parents to provide essential child support services to families. We do not represent either party, but are here to help with the financial needs of the child or the children. Our vision. We work with dads and moms because children do better when both parents are involved, even when they're no longer together as an intact family. Again, the Department of Child Support Services does not represent either party. We're here for the children. Today's agenda. We're going to go over child support services, child support process, modifications, what a change of circumstance is, what required documentation we need, what's involved in the modification process. We're going to talk about Riverside Superior Court family law self-help, and we're going to provide some department information. Child Support Services is here to help with establishing parentage, establishing, modifying, and enforcing child support orders along with medical support court orders. We can also enforce a spousal support order if there is a current monthly child support obligation on the case. The child support process is very lengthy, as you can see. Step 1, you would apply for child support services. Either parent or a child's legal guardian can apply for support or open a child support services case. Second step is to locate the parent if necessary. Before an order can be established, both parties financially responsible for the child must be located. The next step is summons and complaint. The parties financially responsible will be legally notified that they are named in a child support case. The next step is establishing legal parentage. If named in a case, you have the right to request legal proof of parentage, and RIVCO DCSS will help to establish parentage free of charge. Step 5 is creating a stipulated agreement. If both parents can agree on an amount, they can avoid court by filing a stipulated agreement. Step 6, court sets the child support order. A judge or a commissioner will review your information and decides on a child support amount. The next step, Step 7, would begin making payments. After the child support order is set, payments are scheduled to begin, usually by payroll deduction. The next step, Step 8, enforcing the child support order. Parents who refuse to pay or delay paying their child support face enforcement actions and interest charges. Step 9, change the child support order. If either party has a change in circumstance after child support is set, they may qualify for a modification. Step 10, which is the final step, is closing the child support order. There are many reasons why a child support case can be closed, and you can always talk to the department about those closure processes. A modification can happen when the change in circumstance is expected to last more than 3 months. Additional circumstances may include that you're laid off or fired from your job, you get a new or an additional job, your family size changes, or there's been no previous modifications in the past 2 years. There's also an option that if the obligor is incarcerated or involuntarily institutionalized for 90 days or more. A child support modification is a change to an existing child support order. The modification can either increase or decrease the child support amount. Child support orders can be in effect for years, so it is not unusual for the order to be modified. Child support modifications are not automatic and they are not retroactive. At any time, either parent or the child's legal guardian can ask for a change to an increase or decrease the amount of court-ordered child support, which is a modification. You can petition the court yourself with the help of your county's family law facilitator or a private attorney, or we can review your case at no charge. If you do not have a case open with your local child support agency and have a child support order, a case can be opened for modification. Child support modifications aren't ever handshake deals. You cannot make an agreement with a party and have that be an order. Required documentation to proceed with a modification includes your income and expense declaration, also known as the FL-150, any child care expenses, and that's proof of cost, jail or prison status, unemployment benefits or proof of unemployment being received, your current custody and visitation arrangements, proof of medical insurance, any disability status, or any retirement income that you receive. What you can expect during the modification process is that a modification must be requested by either party or the local child support agency initiates it. The review and adjustment packet, it's mailed out to both parties. Once the parties receive the packet, complete it, provide all the required documentation, and returns that within 20 days to the local child support office. Letters of findings will be mailed out to both parties along with a copy of the guideline calculation if one is ran. As a general rule, modifications may be granted if the support order would change by 20% or $50, whichever is less. If the parties do not agree to the guideline calculation that's mailed to them by the local child support office, a notice of motion will be generated and filed with the courts. Each party will receive the document by mail, and that will include the scheduled court date and any pre-court interview appointment that would be necessary. That pre-court interview appointment is scheduled approximately 3 weeks prior to the court date. Contact attempts will be made to see if the parties agree to the guideline amount for possible stipulation, as mentioned earlier. If the parties agree, a stipulation agreement will be prepared and can be signed by DocuSign or in the office by the parties. This process can be completed up to the day before the scheduled hearing. Some things to remember during the modification process. Either party can request a modification from their local child support agency. To request a modification, you must have an open case. Your child support order can go up or down based on information that's gathered. There's no charge for requesting a modification, and at any time, either party can file their own motion with the courts. Also, as mentioned, you must have an open case in order to request a modification. A child support case can be opened at any time. Parties filing must serve the office within a minimum of 15 days prior to the court date if you choose to file your own motion with the courts. Parties must also provide the local child support office a filed copy of the modified court order if there is one done without the LCSA involvement. On the screen is the Riverside County Family Law Self-Help QR code. Self-Help Legal Services is available to assist self-represented litigants with DCSS and child support matters. They can help with modification of existing orders, completing the Riverside County forms, opening a Riverside case. They can help with stipulations and agreements. They can assist with a debt reduction program application. They can also assist with waiver of any unassigned arrears. They're in our Riverside office 5 days a week and our Indio office 2 days a week to assist our clients with the questions in person. Self-Help Legal Services also provides self-represented litigants with remote assistance. They can help with divorce, legal separations, requesting the judge to make or modify orders. They can help with paternity cases, and they can help preparing for the mandatory settlement conference documents. Family law can provide links to forms and explain court processes and procedures. They can also help with child support, spousal support, custody, and visitation. Family law workshops are also available on dissolution of marriage, mandatory settlement conference workshops, default judgment workshops, and family law clinics. Workshop descriptions, schedules, and event details are available on their website. Again, the QR code is on the screen. Department information is listed on the screen. Our office hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We have 3 offices, one in Riverside, one in Indio, and one in Blythe. We also have some co-locate locations in your neighborhood. We have the Mead Valley Community Center, which is open every Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We also have the Mecca Family and Farm Workers Service Center, which is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. There are several ways to contact us. We have the in-person offices and co-locate offices. We have video appointments that you can schedule at rivcodcss.com. Those are available Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We also have live chat available, which is also available at rivcodcss.com. Or you can call us by phone. The customer service number is 866 901-3212. That's available Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. All of our services are available in both English and Spanish. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for hosting us. We're here to help both parents. There's our phone number and our website. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. All right, I'm back. If you have any questions, please type them into the chat or the comment section, and we will answer those questions now. We'll give you a few minutes to type in your questions. Okay, our first question today is, does VA disability count as income for child support? The answer is yes, it absolutely does. The next question we have is, can you share the slides? This video is going to be available on YouTube, so you will be able to see this for future reference.
Can I reopen?
Okay.
And then what are your options? Wait for a second so I can get out the camera.
Okay. The next question we have is, can I reopen a former case? Yes, you can. That's simple. Next question after that is, what options do you have when a parent is lying about income? Oh, that's a tough one. That's going to be based on trying to prove income. There's a lot of ways we can do that. And there's also options of imputing income, but there's a lot of factors that have to be proven about that. Those are the 4058 factors. So there's options that we have. The next question is, why won't my child support cash aid payments be reduced to the other parent if, I'm going to assume that's supposed to be if I have 50-50 custody, why won't it be modified? That is a case-specific question. You can always ask for a modification. The key factors that were in the slide is that in order for a modification to proceed, you have to prove that there's a change in circumstance. And part of your question has to do with proving a change of circumstance. So depending on your current order right now, if your current order is based on 50-50 custody, that could be why your order isn't being modified. But talk with your caseworker or call the office and talk to them about specifics on your case, and then that might get you some better ideas as to what's going on. Next question is, can you get a case dismissed if the custodial, I think party is what's supposed to be there, is living in a different country? Some countries we have reciprocity with, and orders can be enforced with those countries, so it depends on what country you're referring to when we're talking about dismissing a case. So again, give your caseworker a call or call the phone number that's in the slides and ask some questions about the jurisdiction that you're requesting, okay? The next question we have is, can I print out the modification and mail it in? Absolutely. That was easy. I like that. Those are easy questions. All right, let's see. Looks like the next question is, my co-parent and I agreed to 50-50 with no child support in place. I'm assuming that's supposed to be 50-50 custody and visitation, with no child support in place to me as the recipient as long as they pay child care and medical expenses. Is this still an open case? I would like to modify my order as I'm paying for part of these items and they aren't following through. Yes, you can open a case and ask for your order to be modified or established, because if there is no support in place, I'm not sure if there is a court order to enforce or if you need us to establish one. Let's see. The next question is, the other party was put on support through a court order 10 years ago. I would like to stop the child support now. How do I go about doing that? Well, that's easy. You can give us a call at 866-901-3212 and ask about the case to see if you can get it closed. The only reason you may not be able to get it closed if there's any cash assistance involved, but you can always give us a call and find out details on that. Next question. I received documents from my ex's attorney requesting for some outlandish stuff, but on the last page it said, do not submit to court. Is what they're doing legit? It sounds like they're asking for discovery, and those discovery requests are legitimate. I don't know if the specific document that you have is legitimate, but those court documents are judicial counsel forms. And a lot of times they'll ask you not to submit it to court because if there is confidential information, once those documents are filed with court, it is now public knowledge. So that could be why they're asking you not to submit it to court. But if you're concerned, you can go ahead and get a hold of the Self-Help Resource Center, which I do believe that was in the slides as well. The next question I have, it says, out of work and been struggling paying off arrears for years and need debt to be either reduced or erased. What exactly do I need to do so? I have disabilities that hinder working, and it's becoming very difficult to continue on struggling to barely get by, and daughter's 24 years old. I don't, and custody rights were revoked by the state in 2016, so I'd like to be able to get out from under this. Well, we have a debt reduction program that is very popular. You can give our office a call or talk to your caseworker. You can also message your caseworker if you have access to your case online. and get the information on the debt reduction program and see if we can help you with those arrears. Next question is, my modifications amount is different from what's being taken out of my check. Well, that often happens, especially if you have arrears on your case, and arrears just means past due support. So if the amount that's taken out of your check is higher than your order, it's likely that we're taking current support and a payment towards your past due amount. So that could be what's going on. Again, if you have any questions on that, you can always give your caseworker a call or call our call center number and find out specifics. The next question is, for the legal assistance, I don't qualify for the regular government assistant programs. Would I qualify potentially for legal support as I live paycheck to paycheck? I'm not sure what that is in reference to. Our legal services and the family law facilitator don't charge, so I'm not sure if you're referring to that. If you always want to open up a case, we don't charge for our child support cases, so that could be what you're referring to. If you have questions, you can always give our office a call. The next question is, once an investigation is open for welfare fraud related to cash aid or child support, how long does it take before child support is reduced? Well, that question's a little difficult because you're dealing with two different agencies at this point. Welfare fraud in and of itself is an investigation that will happen solely through the welfare offices. That won't happen through child support offices. So the findings from those welfare fraud referrals won't come to us specifically. So you're talking about two different agencies there and the interactions between two different agencies. So the impact that it's going to have on your child support case is going to be very specific to whatever those findings are. So that's something if that's going on with your case, you will need to talk with your caseworker specifically to get that information. Okay. The next question is, my co-parent got married. Would their spouse's income be counted in the home income and is expecting another child? How could this affect child support for our child? Well, when we run a guideline calculation, we will include other spouses' income. So the guideline will reflect household income, but that spouse's income is not used for determining what the obligor or your co-parent would be required to pay in the child support amount. That's solely to see what the household income would be. It would not change your child support guideline. It's not going to add to it. We have no ability to, in very rare cases, do we have the ability to pull money from a spouse's income. So it may not change or affect your court order at all for child support. The next question is, can I change my child's last name if dad never changed his to match? That is a legal process that's outside of the scope of child support. You could seek legal advice and go to self-help to inquire about changing the name or filing for a name change. Next question. If I have one child on child support, why do I have to pay for other children that aren't mine? Is that because of cash aid? No. If you have a child support order, your child support order should be only your children that you're paying on. Unless you're referring to repaying welfare, and that's a different story, but again, your child support order is only going to be based on your child, and that's the one you're paying for, not for others. So I'm not sure if there's more to that question, but if you have any more specifics about that question, again, you can call your caseworker and get details about that. Next question. There is no custody order in place. I'm in the middle of a modification. Do I complete the visitation verification section? Do I complete the health insurance form if the child has Medi-Cal only through DPSS? The visitation verification forms are to list the visitation that's actually happening. You don't have to have a court order. You don't even have to, you can have a court order and you might not even be following that court order. That's not the problem. That's not a problem at all. But the visitation verification form does need to be filled out with the visitation that's actually happening. Now, as for the health insurance form, that health insurance form is to be filled out if you are providing health insurance through your employer and what that cost is. You do not fill that out if the child is getting Medi-Cal through the other parent. The next question is, if I have a child support cash aid case, but the other parent loses parental rights through CPS, then can the cash aid case be closed? That is something you would have to contact the welfare office for, because that is closure of the cash aid case. As for closure of the child support case, that's a different matter. Next question is, we have a court order, so I would like to modify visitation, custody, and child support. Would this be done through the courts or through DCSS? That's a perfect question. The modification of visitation and custody would not be done through DCSS courts. Our DCSS, our Title 4D courts, only modify child support. We cannot modify visitation or custody. But you can file for all three of those, visitation, custody, and child support, at the same time. The custody and visitation matters can be handled separately from the child support matters. The next question is, if my co-parent is getting EBT, does that count for income when calculating child support? I believe you're meaning EBT as in CalFresh. And if that's the case, that does not count as income for calculating child support. The next question, can I request to switch the medical insurance coverage from co-parent to mine? They don't take the child to the doctors, so it impedes me from seeking medical care. They are required to cover medical insurance per the court order. Well, that answer to that is going to be, it depends. There can be a court order for medical insurance, but depending on if Medi-Cal is involved, then that might stop you from being able to switch the insurance. Even if we have a court order for enforcement of health insurance, if you are not on Medi-Cal or any assistance in that manner, you can ask the department not to enforce that portion of it. And then you can provide proof that you have the health insurance under your employer's insurance. And then we can switch that for you. The court order will still remain. Court order is still going to require that the other party provide insurance, but it's more along the lines of you asking the department not to enforce that for you. So there is that option. The next question, if a parent is ordered to pay child support and they are also ordered to are they also ordered to claim them on their income taxes? Well, paying child support and claiming children on taxes is not inclusive. They do not go together. IRS mandates regulations on if a person can claim a child on their income taxes, and that's going to remain. So that still is in place regardless of if they are paying child support on that same child. So you will have to talk to the IRS about being able to claim that child. Next question. If I get full, I'm assuming that's going to mean custody of my son, will I still have to pay child support cash aid to the other parent if she still has her kids on government assistance like IEHP healthcare, even if I have custody? As for getting full custody of your son and still having to pay child support, one of the things that you do need to do is if there is a change of custody, that's what we call that, change of custody, you do need to talk to the office about modifying your court order. There are very rare instances where there's still the chance of paying support, but you can talk with your caseworker. There's also guideline calculators on the state website that you can look at to see if you would be able to determine if there would still be a child support order. Most often, there won't be. But again, you can talk with your caseworker about that. Then the second follow-up to that question, do you have any seminars for child support that is tied in with cash aid and welfare? Not yet, but that's an idea for future webinars. And the last question I see so far is, can you share the link to the YouTube presentation? We will be able to share that link. The YouTube presentation, it is my understanding it won't be ready right away, but it should be available soon. And yes, we can share that link to that. And you're very welcome for your help anytime. Oh, we got one more question. Why is the other parent not forced to financially provide and can be on child support for 10 years? Why don't you make them work? Well, unfortunately, we don't have the enforcement ability to force a person to work. But there are instances and there are enforcement actions that our department can take to, I wouldn't say remedy that situation, but there are instances and there are options for us that we can do. So get a hold of your caseworker and ask specific questions about your case and see what can be done. The next question. Co-parent impedes my communication with child during their visits with them, stating it's boundaries that I need to respect. I call at an appropriate time frame and ask, is this legal? In our court order, we left it at that parents would communicate with each other. Would this influence child support and custody? Okay, so as for your question for legal, that is actually giving you legal advice, and unfortunately, as an attorney for the department, I can't give you legal advice. But this is part of your custody and visitation order, and anything in that nature, you can go to self-help, and they can help you with filing anything if you need to change your custody and visitation order, and or if you need to have additional clauses added to them to address this issue of when you can and cannot call them. So I don't see any other questions. So if there's no more questions, if you have any after this, we got one right at the last second. What would fall under child support? General income. I'm not sure if I can answer that. Income-wise, most money that comes in, it can be considered as income. I know one of the first questions was about VA benefits. That would count as well. So I'm not sure if there's maybe some additional parts of that question that you have. So hopefully we can get some more clarification on that question. The next question I see is, why does I think it's going to be department. Why does the department put child support as a personal loan on your credit report when it's not a loan applied for by self? And when custodial parent was busted for drug use, should they have to repay assistance they received? Okay, two-part question. First part, yes, when you get a court order for child support, it is reported on your credit report like any other judgment that would be received. As for it showing up as a loan, I'm not sure why it shows up that way, but it will show up on your credit report because it is a judgment. Now, the second part of that question is about repaying assistance they received. That's not something that our department would get involved with. That's something that the welfare office would have to deal with. So you can contact them to ask that specific question. Next question. If you guys don't deal with welfare orders, then why does my modification happen at the child support office and includes welfare? Okay. So the connection between the two offices is when a person goes on welfare, our department will open up a child support case to establish an order for child support or modify an order for child support if there's already one existing. So that's why there's two different offices and two different departments involved. But once welfare comes into the picture, our department steps in to establish and enforce a court order for support. It says includes welfare repayment for the other payment because my child support includes their cash aid. Again, that's all connected to the fact that when a person goes on welfare, our department will open up a child support case to establish or modify an order for enforcement. So that's why we're connected, but we're not the same department. Okay. Next question. If my ex and I remarried, do our new spouse's incomes count in our child support case? Well, that's similar to the question before. Your new spouse's income will get included in the guideline calculator, but it is not used as income to determine what the child support order should be and what's to be paid. The obligor, the party that's ordered to pay support, his income or her income is the only income that's used to determine what that order should be. Again, the new spouse's income gets included in the guideline because it gives the court a way to see what the full household income is. Hope that helps you. So here we go. We got a clarification on that question. What income items influence child support? Specifically, when income is assessed, what counts? For example, credit, debt, job, income, hours, insurances, etc. Okay, so let's go to the second part of that question. The credit debits, that wouldn't be part of your income. Your job income and your hours would be. So example, your pay stub, if you have a pay stub, we'll look at the income off of that. Insurances, I'm not sure that would be income. If there is insurance on your paycheck, for example, if you pay into health insurance, we would include that in the guideline calculator, so we would take that into account. Other than that, I'm not sure what else you're referring to in the income part of it. Can you think of anything else? No? Okay. Maybe, Ms. Garcia, if you want to call the caseworker that's assigned to your case and get some specifics, and maybe you can have a chat with her on specific questions of income, and he or she can answer to see if what would be considered as income. In our viewpoint, almost any money that's coming into that household would be considered income. Unless it's income, for example, like Social Security, SSI income, or if a child is getting benefits from a parent's claim, those kind of things would not be income for that adult. So there's some little nuances to that. But again, just give your caseworker a call and you can ask specific types of income and find out, or specific types of information and ask if that's income. Okay? Oh, I got a thumbs up. Good. All right. Okay, so our next question. How soon after going through juvenile court for CPS can I think that's going to be, can I file for family law case for full custody to change my child support order? You don't have to wait any specific time. Again, if you can prove that there's a change of circumstance, then you can request a modification at any point. Next question. If both parties have insurance through their jobs, do we list it on the health insurance form, but child was never added? You will include the health insurance that you provide on the health insurance forms. The other party will include the health insurance that they provide on the health insurance forms. Next question. If the other party refuses to put down their spouse's income, can it be court ordered? I have never seen that actually happen. We often see sometimes where they say their spouses, they don't know their spouse's income. I have never had anyone be court ordered to provide their spouse's income. So, next question. If a co-parent decides to quit their job or take a lower paying job, if their spouse's income won't be counted towards child support, if their spouse's income won't be counted towards child support if they don't want to pay. Okay, so you have two different scenarios happening. You have the co-parent who quit their job to take a lower paying job. And it sounds like you're saying they're doing that because their spouse's income won't be counted towards paying child support because they don't want to pay. There are things that our department can do if a person decides to quit their job or take a lower paying job. There are things that our department can do. Again, that goes back to, we can look at their job history, we can look at their ability to pay a certain amount. There's a lot of options that we have for that. So you can always give your caseworker a call and talk to them specifically about that. And there's one more. Let's see. Does it matter if you have change of circumstance if you're paying on a welfare case? Yesterday they told me it doesn't matter that I have 50-50 now. I still have to pay her welfare. I would have to see what's going on with that case. It depends on if if your order is already based on 50-50 custody, then I could see that it wouldn't be changing. So that would mean that you have not proven that there's a change of circumstance, and that would mean that that's why you can't modify your order. So if there's specifics, still request the modification because you're saying the order isn't based on 50-50. Still request the modification and still turn in the paperwork so it can be reviewed and we can determine if the order can be changed. Because I'm not sure if there's a misunderstanding in there or if the current order is not based on 50-50 timeshare, then a change in custody or increased timeshare would count as a change of circumstance. So that should be enough to modify your order. So fill out the paperwork and turn it in so we can take a look at that. You're welcome. I don't see any other questions popping up. So if there are no more questions, okay, here we go. Got one. Do you know if the that's a tongue twister. Do you know if the Self-Help Law Center is on the second floor of the Family Law Court? Ooh, I think it is. Okay, I'm getting a head nod. Yes, I'm gonna say yes. So I am going once, going twice. I don't see any more questions. So if there's no more questions, or if you have any questions after, please feel free to email us at rivcodcss@rivco.org. That's RIVCO@RIVCO, that stands for Riverside County, .org, or call us at 866-901-3212, or visit our website and chat with us live, or come into the office. We'll talk to you too. Bye.